You can find the x and y-intercepts from an equation. Then you can use the intercepts to graph the equation. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to find the x and the y-intercepts using this equation, and once we have those, we're going to go ahead and graph our equation using the intercepts. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So first what we're going to do is find the x-intercept. So to find the x-intercept, what do we always know? Well, we know that y is equal to 0, right? That's that key thing. You have to memorize that. So we're going to go ahead and write that original equation, 4x plus 2y equals 8. And then I'm just going to substitute 0 in for y. And what I end up with is 0 in for y, because to find the x-intercept, we always know that y is 0. That just ends up being 0. Divide by 4. We get x equals 2. Now that's what the answer is, that's what my x-intercept is, but I need to write my solution as the x-intercept equals 2, because remember that means it's a vertical line, and we're not talking about a vertical line, we're just talking about the x-intercept at 2, which is the point 2, 0. So that is our first point right there, our x-intercept being right here at 2, 0. Okay, perfect. Now it's time to find our y-intercept. So what do we know about our y-intercept? Well, we know for our y-intercept that x is always equal to 0, right? So we're just going to go ahead and write that original equation first. So go ahead and make sure you do that on your homework, quizzes, tests, all of that. Stick in 0 for x. 4 times 0 plus 2y equals 8. 4 times 0 is just 0. So we end up with 2y equals 8. We want to get y by itself, so we divide by 2 to both sides, and we get y equals 4. Okay, now we're not going to write this as our answer. We're going to write y-intercept equals 4, right, which is the point. X is always equal to 0, 4. Make sure your ordered pairs has parentheses on them. So there you have it. Now we don't write our answer as y equals 4 because y equals 4 would be a horizontal line, and that's what we're talking about. We're talking about just that y-intercept, which is right here at 0, 4. So once you have your x-intercept and your y-intercepts, I love graphing lines this way because it's super easy. You have 2 points, and then all you do is just connect the dots, and then boom shakalaka, there you have it. You have your graph from finding the x-intercept and the y-intercept. So this is the process that we're going to practice for this next example. Okay, let's go ahead and do one more together, and then I'm going to have you do a couple on your own to practice and get confident in this skill. So we're going to use the intercepts to graph this particular line, right? This line is in standard form. The x and the y are on the same side. They're related through addition. The x and the y both have a 1 in the exponent, and we know that because there's nothing written there, so there must be a 1. So since we know this is a linear function, we're just going to go ahead and graph it with its x-intercept and y-intercept. So what do we know about the x-intercept? We always know that y equals 0. Okay, I'm going to write that original equation. 3x plus 9y equals 9. Then I'm just going to substitute in. So however I'm showing my work on this problem, this is exactly how you need to show your work on your homework, your tests, your quizzes, everything, okay? So I'm just showing all of my steps. 9 divided by 3 is 3. Okay, this is not my answer. X equals 3 would be a vertical line. I need to write that it's just talking about that point, the x-intercept at 3, which is the point 3, 0. Okay, so there's my first one. There's my x-intercept. Oh, it's such a lovely x-intercept. Okay, now let's do the y-intercept. So what do we know about the y-intercept? Well, we know that x is always equal to 0, right? I'm going to write that original equation. And then we just substitute in. Okay, that's going to equal 0. Nice, nice. Get y by itself, so I divide by 9 to both sides. I end up with y equals 1, but I'm not going to write that. Y equals 1, remember that is a horizontal line, and I'm just talking about that particular point, which is the y-intercept equals 1, which is the point 0, 1. right there. And then once we have that, we just connect both of those dots. Oh, I got to do it the other way, like this. There, right there, right there. Right there, right there. And we have it. We have our beautiful, lovely, magnificent line. All right, that's it. That's how you graph by the x, finding the x and the y-intercept. So now it is your turn, my friend. I want you to try this same process for 4 and 5. Make sure you show your work exactly like I do here. All right, where's my friend? Where are you? Oh, here's my friend, the pause dragon. Remind you to pause your device. Go ahead and work out those 2 problems. When you get done, press play and we'll go over them together. All right, see you in a bit. Okay, let's see how you did. So the x-intercept here, what do we always know about the x-intercept? We know that y is equal to 0. I'm going to go ahead and write that original equation first. I'm going to stick 0 in for y. I end up with 4x equals negative 12. Then we use, ooh, that's a 4. Divide by 4 to both sides, the inverse operation of multiplication, right? X equals negative 3, but we're not going to write that. That's a, what is it, next? Negative 3 would be a vertical line. We just want that point, so we're going to write the x-intercept equals negative 3. That means just that point, or negative 3, 0, the ordered pair. Make sure you put the parentheses around the ordered pair, and boom, we have it right there. Okay, now we're going to find that y-intercept. What do we always know about the y-intercept? We know that x equals 0. Woohoo! All right, write that original equation. Writing. We substitute 0 in for x. 4 times 0 plus 6y equals negative 12. That's 0, so we end up with 6y equals negative 12. We're going to get y by itself, so we do the inverse operation of multiplication, which is division. We end up with y equals negative 12 divided by 6, which is negative 2. But remember, y equals negative 2 is a horizontal line, and we're not talking about the whole line. We're just talking about that particular point. So we're going to write the y-intercept is equal to negative 2. So make sure you have this on your paper, which is the point 0, because x is always equal to 0 for the y-intercept. And there we have it right there. Time to graph the line. My favorite part in the whole process is just connecting the dots. Okie dokie. And put the arrows means it goes on and on forever. So if you got that one right, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Let's go ahead and see how you did on this next one, problem number 5. First thing we're going to do is find that x-intercept. What do we know with the x-intercept? We know that y equals 0. Write that original equation. We get 2x minus y equals 4. Substitute 0 in for y. We get 2x minus 0 equals 4. Well, that's nice because it's just going to be 2x equals 4. Divide by 2 to both sides. We get x equals 2, which is not what we're going to write because we just want that point. The x-intercept equals 2, which is the point 2. 0, put ordered pairs because y is always equal to 0 whenever you are talking about the x-intercept. So that lovely point is right there. Now we're going to find the y-intercept. Y-intercept, what do we always know? X equals 0. Write the original equation because we love to write the original equation. It's one of our favorite things to do. Okay, if it's not, just pretend like it is. Okay, 0 goes in for x. 2 times 0 minus y equals 4. We get negative 4 equals 4. Now, y is not by itself. 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 Okay, oh my gosh, there's so many times that people think that y is by itself, and there's a negative there. Do you not see it? It's right there. There's a negative. The negative means that y is not by itself, okay? You have to get rid of the negative. So how do you get rid of the negative? By multiplying both sides by -1. Super easy. Negative times a negative is boom shakalaka. It's a positive. Now we have y by itself. 4 times -1 is -4. But that's not how we're going to write our answer because that would be a lovely, magnificent horizontal line, which is not what we're talking about. We just want the y-intercept, which is -4, which means x is always 0, -4. There's the point. There's our answer. Oh, this is so exciting. There's the y-intercept. And then we just connect the dots. Connect the dots, connect the dots, connect the dots. Put arrows on the end, and there we have it. If you got that one right, yokarikimashita, you did a wonderful job, and we'll see you in a little bit for the next example.